I want to talk about how you can determine your highest values. So you can stop wasting time living by someone else's vision and start living yours. So this is something I've learned from Dr. John demartini, and he has a free test on his website, which I encourage all of you to do. But the idea is to focus on what's important to you and stop wasting your time pursuing things that you don't feel spontaneously inspired to go after. So the test is going to ask you a few questions, and it's always going to ask you to rank the top three things for each of these categories. So a few examples, just to give you guys an idea, is you want to be paying attention to what things you always have near you within proximity. Typically, that's going to be because they're important to you. Something else you can think about is what do you spend time visualizing mentally? Something that you would like your life to be. What do you spend time speaking to others about? What excites you? What energizes you? What do you spend your resources on, whether time, money? Where do you find yourself most reliable and organized and disciplined without even needing to think about it? So these are all things that can start to point you towards what might be important to you. And if you do it properly, you start to notice common themes in each of these categories. I will say it is important to also make sure that you're approaching this from more of an authentic, neutral state of love. Otherwise, you might be viewing things from skewed perception, right? So this is also where the exercise about balancing out your perception is important, because now you're more likely to see what is truly important to you versus what you think is important to you based on certain expectations you've inherited from the world around you and other people. So once you've done this test and you start to realize truly what is high on your list of values, what's important to you, now the real game begins, because you stop wasting time trying to be second at being somebody else and you focus on being first at yourself, playing authentic instead of trying to play big. And you start to feel some sort of relief, because it's almost like you no longer need to prove yourself to anybody else. You no longer need to live up to someone else's expectations. It's not about trying to play hard to prove that you're deserving, to prove that you're worthy to other people. And instead, it simply becomes, let me try and play authentic. Let me pursue things that I know are meant for me. And these things can change, right? You can go back and do this test once a year, for example, and see your values might shift over time, and that's fine. But now it becomes about following your internal compass, your internal guidance. The things that attract you do so for a reason. And when you're pursuing that, things will feel effortless. You don't need to convince yourself to work hard, because you're spontaneously inspired to do so, because it's high on your list of values. And when you finally give yourself permission to go after the things that are meant for you, that's when your legacy truly begins. That's what everybody wants, right? They want to leave a legacy. They want to go after things that are important to them. And in the pursuit of these things, you'll typically feel yourself excited to pursue things, regardless of whether they're challenging or not. You still feel energized even when you go through the tough times. You still wake up wanting to go after these things, as opposed to feeling drained and dreading every single event. So that's the difference between being in alignment with something versus just doing things that you find comfortable. We're not chasing comfort, right? Because at the same time, if you're doing something that is important to you and it's just easy, it's just fantasy the whole way through, you get bored. So that's why we also seek challenges, right? And at the same time, if you're leaning too heavily on just challenging situations all the time, that's when you get burnout, right? So these things are boredom, burnout, they're all feedback as well. So what you want to do is pursue things that you know energize you, which you know are for you, and then you're going to see yourself finding this nice balance between challenge and ease, right? You don't get too bored, you don't get burnt out. You want to be just right in between, and that's where you continue to grow and pursue things that are your highest value. Okay, so give yourself permission to do that, and this is where you truly start to contribute to the world, and you start to feel more fulfilled, and you start to see the universe almost conspire in your favor and support you.